In this video, I'm going to be covering the customer sales order report. Now, I want to point out that this is a custom application, and I'll probably, with no doubt, every person that wants to have this application may want something other than the base app. And the base app is what you see as far as the reporting is concerned. What normally happens when you have a base app, you have specific business issues with the way everything is done based on your requirements. This report can reflect how you want your data to be displayed. In this particular case, if you come down alongside this button and go straight down this way, everything on this side is actually printable and editable as far as on a report. All this is additional supporting information on this side that can be searched on. And the main reason these fields are there is it does present other information that is useful when you're doing a find and trying to build your report. Now let's talk a little bit about building reports. First of all, you have to have all the data in the report, and in the case of the one above here, it's not completely filled out. But what happens here is you have the client company, which is Business Advisors. This is the sales purchase order number, 9589, and of course, this would be created in the sales order screen in this application, which basically, if you pop it up, is part of the customer order. There's an area there where you create this record. We covered that earlier in a different video. And now what happens as the record is completed, it shows the order date if it's come to an order. It shows all the information about the order. It shows the report group. In this case, not all these things are filled in because this is all sample data that we were testing with. But it gives you the sales ID, the order status, the sales PO number, the invoiced amount, the company's phone, company sales phone, the order date, delivery date, and shipping location where it's supposed to be sent to, the sales rep that took the order, the lead date as far as when the lead started, the lead from, and who the lead status. Now, interestingly enough, that information right there should be able to build a fairly decent report. But as I said before, based on your requirements, that would be something you would probably want to do and set up customized for your business. Now, in the case of this one, there's a record summary for each one of the orders where it summarizes the amounts below, like these two fields right here. And what it does then at the end of the report, it'll do a report summary based on all the records in selection. So in some cases, if you wanted to do things that most people want to analyze when they're doing sales, you can look at a date, you could look at a date range, you could look at a company and a date range and see all the activity for that company within that date range. You can take a look at the primary person or the salesperson, and you can say, okay, I want to see Sam's stuff that he's worked on. And normally we'd have more than Sam. It would be Sam's full name, Sam Smith or whatever. And that way you could find out exactly how many things Sam did. And then you can look at the period by the using the date range in a find, and then bring up the records for just Sam for those date ranges. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you before I leave here how you do a order date range or a lead date range. They work in the same way, but they bring up certain items on a certain period of dates. So for example, I have the 22nd for an order date through the 19th. So I have 19th and the 22nd. If I was going to do a search and I did it by Sam, it's going to bring up Sam's record and it's going to give me the 22nd if I do a date range. But it's important to know how date ranges work. Once again, if you go to the support site, they're in the FAQs and videos, there are things to show you how to do finds and do searches in case you forget or you don't know. But you can rerun this video again also in the screen by using the video help to see that particular thing covered. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to want to do a date range. I'm going to actually pick up both of them. And I'm going to say I want to pick up the 19th and 22nd. I'm just going to avoid putting in Sam because all it's going to do is show the one record. But I'm going to go ahead and say, first of all, let's go do a find. And I'm going to go in there and say August the 22nd. And before I do that, though, I'm going to have to click into the field, and I'm going to put in what says greater than, which looks like that, and equals to, and you can do this either, equals to, which is on your iPad keyboard or on the desktop on your keyboard, Then you're going to put in the date. In this case, I'm going to put 8 slash, just say take the 21st, so we're going to do one day ahead of it. And then we're going to say slash in 2014. Now that is the first half. Whoops, we got a little bit of odd thing in there. It looks like I capitalized it. And that can be done. You have to always look at it to make sure that you've got the correct information in there. Now I'm going to do what is called a less than by doing this or equal to. And then I'm going to put the closing date. And let's put say the 23rd. Let's do 8/23/2014. And that would be the closing period. So what we have here is a date range. Greater than or equal to the date, start date. Less than or equal to the ending date. And everything in that range should be picked up when I do the do find or perform find. So let's go ahead and do that. And in this particular case, I have the 22nd, and I have Sam, okay? And I have his $600 transaction. And apparently I missed the 19th. So I can always go back and do another one because I put in the 21st, my little trick, but I wanted to show you what happened if you do it incorrectly. And also I want to show if you actually do it totally incorrectly and put the wrong everything in there, you're going to get an error and it's going to come up and say that either there's a problem with the date range and it's incorrect, or modify it and try again, or cancel. In the case of modifying, you can always go back and modify the error that you put in there and put in the 19th and then collect that record as well. Or if you have to do something different like cancel it, you can just cancel and say don't do it. So if I had done a search for August the 22nd and just looked for Sam, I would have got 22nd and Sam. But if I just do it by Sam, start with date, and say like you're during a month and it's before the end of the month, and you want to know all the way to the current date based on the first of the month, you could put greater than or equal to the first day of the month and then run that search, and the date range would be to the current date, whatever that might be. And it'll find everything that Sam has booked up to that point in time and then give you a total. Now, if Sam's done several clients, you would have each client showing and the amount that he did for each order. And then the summary at the bottom, like you see the summary here, would be down at the bottom of all the records for Sam for that period of time. So that's pretty straightforward stuff. You can also do a do find and look at everything that has a working lead, as say, for example, all the different statuses. You can go and look for statuses to see everything that is a working lead or a lead or something pending or something like that, and build up only the things that are pending. And then you can look for Sam in pending, and then you would see Sam stuff. So that's kind of an idea how you can mix and match different things in order to get the information. I can also do a rep group, Northwest, Southeast, whatever, and build up only those transactions for that particular area by a certain date range. Okay, if you have any questions, as usual, go to the support site, FAQs, and if you can't find the answer there, go ahead and go to the right of that and add in a question and have that emailed to me, and I'll go ahead and answer it as quick as possible. If you have any questions, please contact me on the support site.